Hello, welcome one and all to a new video series that I want to do. This is simply how I'm going to put it. How viable is this multi-class? I think truly there is a way to make any multi-class work to a certain degree. And why not show it off by having it be random? I do have a few things I want to point out. There's going to be a primary class and then a secondary class for this series. The first one I spin on this nice wheel is the primary one that I will be focusing majority of my levels, or 50-50. Also gotta keep in mind, with the secondary class, no matter what, I have to get enough levels in order to pick a subclass. So if I get cleric as a secondary, I can get only 1 level, or if it's something like fighter, I would have to get 3 levels. I have no expectations. There's only one that I feel like would be like awful. So let's see what the first one is. First spin, the primary class is going to be Druid. Okay. Druid could be an interesting start. The secondary class is going to be Monk. This could have been worse. They both are wisdom. Don't mind the race thing. So we're doing the standard point array just to keep things as consistent as possible. Of course, we're going to have wisdom at 15. That's our spellcasting modifier, as well as one of our main stats, as well as probably dexterity. Boost up that armor class with the monk. I'm going to pick Druid and Monk now. And I'm just going to double check. So they are proficient in these. Intelligence. Do I pick up intelligence as my 13, or do I go for constitution? I think go for 13 in intelligence and then constitution. Strength, you're not exactly going to need strength, because I believe, for at the very least wild shape, I could be mistaken, you're able to use your offhand attacks when you're transformed, and since you're part monk, those would be your dex and not your strength. I believe. I could be wrong. I've not played a druid myself. As for race, also, I do want to keep in mind that I'm not going to be choosing the same race over and over again. I feel like it would be better to expand my horizons. As for the race, I think what could be interesting is probably go with something more simple. So I might go for probably a, what do gnomes get? You know what? Yes. Actually, no. Don't deep gnomes get a wisdom thing, or am I not thinking of the right thing? Yes, we're going with the deep gnome. And the ability score, we'll just do it down here. For this type of build, I think we do go for the ability score thing. And get a 1 in wisdom, put the 1 in wisdom and then put the extra 2 in dex. So we're able to bump up our AC a little bit higher. As for equipment, as for our background, ignore this. I think a simple where is it? A simple hermit would work fine for this. You get medicine and religion, as well as you get proficiency in a tool or instrument. Really, any of these could work depending on your character. You just get a language of your choice. I'm never that good at picking languages, but normally my standard is to go for Draconic. As for equipment, I need to remove all this equipment because this is for backup character I was working on. Remove all of this. Alright, starting equipment. We can get a wooden shield that would bump up our AC. But hold on, just to double check. Unarmored defense. As long as not wearing armor or shields. Okay, there's the kicker. So, in fact, this first one is better spent on a simple weapon. What weapon that may be? I think a simple short sword. Do you not have short sword? Okay. Looks like you don't have short sword. What classifies as a monk weapon? Oh, just simple weapons. Okay. Also for this, we aren't using any of the Tasha's being able to replace abilities. So I think a quarterstaff makes sense for this type of character. Now you can either pick a scimitar or a simple weapon. Let's go for scimitar. The armor does not matter, but we will go with a... We'll go with a totem. And there is our equipment. Nothing crazy. The only things that we really got is a scimitar and a quarterstaff. But I don't believe a scimitar works with the druid or with the monk. So I think our main weapon is going to be the quarterstaff. As for class features, we get 2 proficiencies with druid. We don't get any proficiencies with monk. So for the proficiencies, we already do have medicine and religion. So I think for this type of character, I would go with nature and survival. You are a very wisdom heavy character, and you should be able to work with that. Like, you're proficient with nature. We don't get to choose anything with monk. So, as for spells, we do get a few cantrips, and for this character, I believe allowing us to go with cantrips, I would say making a bonfire, as well as Druid craft. Now, cantrips aren't the biggest deal right now. And then, as for our first level, we do get 4 prepared spells. Animal friendship could definitely be helpful as a hermit. You can entangle a person. That could be fairly handy for your allies. You could speak to animals to provide, or to be able to talk to animals in the area. And I think a simple healing word. Healing word is a decent heal spell from a distance. You won't have to get yourself too in danger, and you don't have to fall back if one of your allies gets hurt in a distance. So, as for level 2, you get your Druidic Circle, and for this, I think going for... You are a hermit. You're meant to be like a, someone that maybe people look down upon. So, I'm leaning towards the Circle of the Land. Do you have to choose a specific one, or... Okay. It doesn't look like you have to pick a specific one. If you had to choose a specific one, if I find out later, I'm going to go with the Grasslands. We do get a bonus cantrip, which I think I'm going to use that for mending. You're in the wild. Eventually your clothing could rip, and you're able to fix it back up. As for spells, we do get one extra first level spell, which I would use this for probably... I would probably use this for Goodberry. You're able to go into the wild and collect these berries and tune them with, healing powers, as well as being able to satisfy you and your party. For Monk 2nd level, we don't get to pick anything else, but we do get a little bit better movement, as well as we finally get our key ability. Now, we can't cast spells if we're wild-shaped, but we can still use class features, which I believe still includes key points. So that is going to be handy. 3rd level Druid, we get circle spells. So this allows us to get hold person and spike growth. Okay, never mind. We get a general list of all the specific ones. So, yeah, third level monk, we get a subclass. Now, I have a character that uses the Way of Mercy, but in this case, it would not make sense. I mean, you could totally play it either way. Like, this is just how I'm viewing this character as how we have framed it. You're a forest monk that's also a hermit. You are in the wilderness, dealing with, I would presume, the different elements of nature, which is why we're going with the 4 elements monk. So, element discipline, I think Fist of 4 Thunders would make sense. You're dealing with a lot of like thunderstorms and whatnot, and probably on that same boat, either we can go with Water Whip or Fist of Unbroken Air. I think for this build, I think we will go with a Water Whip. You're dealing with the outside, you're dealing with the storms that's brewing on the outside. So far this is level 6, with our current health pool being 39 health, respectively. Also 3rd level Druid. You also get access to 2nd level spells. I believe probably one of the better ones for this character is probably Summon Beast. You're able to bring one of the animal friends that you have worked with to survive out in the wild, in the wilderness. And now we could stop a monk here, but we would only still have 3 key points. So I think going a little bit further with monk could be nice. As for 4th level, we get an ability score improvement or a feat. I think going for going for a feat, specifically going for the tough feat. You're meant to be, with this character, you're meant to be a melee combatant, so you're going to need to bump up that health. Bumping up that health would definitely not be a terrible idea. And truthfully, Monk, level 4, we get an ability to score a feat. I recommend going for the feat and going for specifically the durable feat. That just makes it to where we bump up our constitution a little bit further, as well as we get better healing from hit die whenever we have to roll it during a short rest. Keep in mind, you also gain benefits from doing short rests as a monk already from key points, so you are doubling down on being able to short rest and gain abilities. And I don't believe, I could be wrong. Oh, yeah, you know what? This actually works even better, because druids also get their wild shape back on short rest. This is just this flows really well. And so far we have decent amount of health for being a 8th level character overall. It isn't the highest you probably could get, but it's not terrible. As for 5th level, we don't gain much with Druid when it comes to features, but we do get access to 3rd level spells. I think plant growth could be a good option. You're able to grow a good amount of plants and being able to harvest them and whatnot. The second level, the second, 3rd level spell. You are out in the wilderness or out in the wild, so you got to be able to learn from nature. This is where speaking of plants could be a beneficial option. Be able to get it and move out of your way, or really be able to potentially get information out of them from the area. We also do get another cantrip, and I think a simple one that's never gonna go wrong is Gust. Or no. Wait, didn't I pick Mending before? No, I didn't. Now we pick Mending. I could have sworn we picked Mending before. That was my mistake. As for Monk level 5, we do get Stunning Strike, which could be decent. Although it is a Constitution saving throw, but this relies on your wisdom. Like, it's your wisdom versus their Constitution. And you're already bumping up the wisdom with Druid. So at level 10 character we have 83 hit points, as well as some decent spells. Are they the best? No. Maybe. It depends on the campaign. Level 6 druids allow you to get Land Stride, as well as, I believe, you don't gain access to more spells, but you do get another spell slot. And I simply think that I would say another good spell for this is Water Breathing. You as a player, you're able to, one of the things you did to survive was to hunt down fish in the wild, but you'd have to breathe underwater in order to be able to do that. So that works beneficial for that case. As for Monk, level 6, you get another elemental discipline, as well as another boost to your unarmored movement by a solid 15 movement. As for this discipline, I think a example, northern wind. As like you're in the wilderness, sometimes there is just a massive gust of wind that could potentially even blow you off your feet. As for 7th level druid, we get we don't get anything when it comes to class features, but we do get access to 4th level spells. And I think for this case, for this character, being able to summon an elemental may not be that bad of a choice. Because you already are going with a bunch of elemental abilities from the monk. You're mastering the laws of nature. You are able to start fires, balance water, potentially even make the earth move and blow people off their feet. You're basically becoming a low-key avatar with this so far. As for 7th level monk, we don't gain much except for evasion, which is not a bad effect at all. It helps us with our dexterity saving throws, which are already decent due to us having a decent bit in dexterity, as well as an action until the end of your turn, you can cause you're basically temporarily immune. You're not immune to Charm and Frighten, but you're able to cleanse it from yourself, which I think is decent. I don't believe you would ever have it necessary that you would have it happen often, because I believe it's a wisdom saving throw, but it could be handy. As for 8th level, we're able to wild shape even higher beasts, specifically challenge rating 1. Now, I'm not going to go into specific beasts because I feel like it would depend on the scenario, as well as I'm not fully aware of the beast list myself. We get an ability score at this point. I think simply going for an ability score and capping off that wisdom should be a justified choice. As well as, when it comes to spellcasting, you do gain 2 more spell slots, and I think freedom of movement, as well as being able to be like that guardian of nature. Like, you'll be able to gain so many different effects from nature while living out there that you're able to balance it perfectly within your soul. As for monk, you don't gain that much other than an ability skill point or ability or feat choice. I think capping off that wisdom. A lot of you worrying is wisdom, but other than wisdom, your dex is fine. It's not the best, but it could be worse. 9th level, you don't get much for druid, although you do gain 5th level spells. Commune to nature is always a solid option with how this works, as well as Wrath of Nature. Nature has gotten pissed off at humanity, and it commands you to go after humanity and make sure everyone falls to nature. Nature always wins when it comes to life and death, and you are the voice of nature. As for 9th level, we get another improvement to our movement. Specifically, we're able to walk across water as well as vertical surfaces, which means that we don't have to worry about a specific transformed not being able to do it, because you will be able to do it, unless the DM tells you otherwise. We're hitting our capstone for druid at 10th level. We do get nature's ward, and now we just can't be charmed or frightened, so we don't have to waste a key point down there, as well as we're immune to poison and disease. When it comes to spells, we do get we get another spell slot. I would use this on Freedom of the Winds. Or, no. No. I would use this on... I would use this on Control Winds. You're able to blow people away from the nature that's attacking it. As well as, now, I would talk to your DM about this one, but I would technically say that wind would try to put out the water, like it'll, like, blow it out. Sort of like a candle. But who knows? As for Monk, your final level, unless you're going to 30, which I'd be very lucky, you get another increased boost to your movement speed. You are possibly one of the fastest moving characters in the map. As well as you also become immune to disease and poison, which we already had that, but that movement speed is a massive boost. Now what do we have at the end? What do we have at the end? We have a solid hit point maximum of 163. Isn't terrible, but you're able to wild shape and be able to practically bump that up even more. When it comes to speed, we are a solid 50-foot movement speed without having to dash. And we have an 18 armor class. We have immunities to 1, 2, 3. Wait, is this resistance or is this immune? Oh yeah, we're just immune to all of the. We have immunity to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 conditions. That is huge. We also get a advantage on intelligence and wisdom saving throws, which are already decent. They aren't as high as we want it to be, but they are decent. We do have a pretty decent proficiency, so we're able to use what our race does a good bit more. And we have Wild Shape. Now, this isn't going to scale as well, but with the monk levels, you're able to have a higher movement speed with that creature, as well as being able to still be somewhat decent in combat. If you were to go with Wild Shape more often, I would heavily say you would lean way more in Druid in the setup. But I think we worked it out to where we are doing great. Now, the only thing that we're not that great at is strength checks and saving throws. Our constitution could be higher. It could be. But I think it's fine. Dexterity is great. We are honestly in a very good position, health and armor wise. As for spells, because we multi-classed, we only have 2 5th level spells, 3 4th level spells, 3 3rd level spells, 3 2 level spells, and 4 level 1 spells. All of these are fairly versatile, but keep in mind as well, because of the subclass of the monk, you are able to actually use some of their some extra spells that you don't have access to. As well as when it comes to projectiles, you're able to deflect it by spending more key points. And you're also able to increase the spell effect Oh, never mind. That's only for spells that are costing key points. That's still fine. You still have access to fairly decent stuff, including Hold Person, which I don't believe Druid actually gets in their spell list. You are a professional wild person. You are in the wilderness. You are a born survivor in the wild. And honestly, this is probably like one of the neatest ideas you could play. In my eyes as a player. How would I rate it? Honestly, a lot of the stuff flows with this to where I would give it a solid A. It isn't OP. And frankly, it might be a little bit lower, like a B. But I think a lot of the effects coincide with Druid to where it works perfectly between Druid and Monk. Being able to rely on solely Wisdom as your spellcasting, as well as your Monk basically abilities to be able to do quote unquote magic. Having those rely on the same exact casting form is great. You also get Dark Vision, which is nice because that's from our race. But our Wisdom, we are like one of the wisest people on our party. And having our Dex be our secondary and then Intelligence, we do get advantage, or we get advantage on saving throws when it comes to Intelligence spell casting as well as Wisdom casting. So basically, Intelligence is not great. It could be worse. Well, that's gonna do it for this episode. Hope you guys have a great one, and maybe the next one will be harder to create something for, or maybe even better. Who knows? Hope you all have a great rest of your day.